Once upon a time, in the bustling boroughs of Staten Island and Brooklyn, New York, there existed a small but infamous group known as the Astral Projection Cult. Led by Patrick Homan, their practices centered around the notion of projecting themselves into the astral realm through a unique blend of voodoo and mental imagery. The members of this cult were unconventional, to say the least. They had acquired houses in both boroughs, serving as their sacred spaces for their otherworldly practices. However, their eccentricities did not go unnoticed by society. As rumors spread, the astral projection cult found themselves under the scrutiny and surveillance of both curious onlookers and authorities alike. Many on the outside simply dismissed their claims of astral projection as mere fantasy, mocking and ridiculing their beliefs. Media outlets, in particular, relished in sensationalizing the cult's activities, presenting them to the public as laughable and absurd. It seemed that society had collectively joined in on the mockery, viewing the cult as nothing more than a source of entertainment. Yet, within the folds of the astral projection cult, Patrick Homan and his followers remained resolute in their beliefs. They insisted that their projections held purpose, hoping to create positive change by influencing the thoughts and actions of others. However, their intentions seemed to be interpreted as malevolent by those who dismissed their claims. Adding to the complexity of the situation, a troubling figure, known as Karen, emerged within the cult. Karen became known for her aggressive tactics, following individuals and attempting to recruit them into committing unsavory acts through ridicule and threats. This behavior only fueled society's negative perception of the cult, cementing their reputation as outcasts. Meanwhile, across the pond, a team of investigators from Scotland Yard, renowned for their expertise in unconventional cases, found themselves drawn to the enigmatic reports surrounding the astral projection cult. They hopped from city to city in Canada, trailing leads that finally brought them to Staten Island. With determination in their hearts, the Scotland Yard investigators, joined by their Canadian counterparts, embarked on the final leg of their journey to Staten Island. Armed with surveillance and evidence, they sought to bring clarity to the mysteries surrounding the cult and, if warranted, bring them to justice for any wrongdoing. The collision of these two worlds was inevitable. As the investigators closed in on their targets, they found themselves face to face with the astral projection cult. Patrick Homan and his followers, surprised by the sudden intrusion, were compelled to respond to the allegations laid against them. Under intense scrutiny, the truth began to unravel. The investigators discovered that while the astral projection cult had certainly been embroiled in controversy and had attracted some unsavory elements, their intentions were not inherently sinister. Instead, they were driven by a misguided belief in their ability to influence positive change from the astral realm. As the investigators discovered the nuances within the cult's practices, their perception gradually shifted. No longer the subject of ridicule, the astral projection cult became individuals with unique beliefs and aspirations, albeit with some misguided methods. This realization prompted a more empathetic approach from the authorities, encouraging open dialogue and understanding rather than blind condemnation. In the end, the story of the astral projection cult transcended the initial surface-level humor and intrigue. It became a tale of misconceptions, societal judgment, and the importance of compassion and understanding. From the ashes of scrutiny, a more nuanced understanding emerged, allowing for a delicate balance between the freedom to practice one's beliefs and the need to protect society from any potential harm. And so, the astral projection cult of Staten Island and Brooklyn continued their journey, now under the watchful eye of both scrutiny and understanding. Their practices and beliefs, no longer dismissed as mere fantasy, were met with cautious intrigue, opening the doors to a dialogue that could potentially bridge the divide between the realms of the known and the unknown. Once upon a time, in the vast and rugged lands of Nevada, a visionary general would serve as a reminder of the perils of delusion. Once upon a time, in a world filled with intrigue and hidden societies, the lives of Patrick Homan and the astral projection cult took an unprecedented turn. Little did they know that their journey would lead them to the realm of Keith Sr., a misunderstood sanitation worker whose life held secrets that even he couldn't comprehend. In the bustling city streets, Keith Sr. devoted his days filled with the tension and confusion. Embracing his newfound creativity, Keith, whose life held secrets that even he couldn't comprehend. In the bustling city streets, Keith Sr. devoted his days to collecting trash and waste as a sanitation worker. Despite being ridiculed for his lack of education, Keith possessed a unique ability to see value in the discarded and forgotten. One fateful day, Keith stumbled upon a voodoo skull and doll hidden amongst the skeletal trash, and something within him changed. Embracing his newfound creativity, Keith transformed from a sanitation worker into a skilled voodoo artist. Drawn to his artistry and intrigued by the mystic allure, Patrick Coleman and his sister Karen decided to follow Keith's footsteps and join his cult. They abandoned their lives, leaving behind their roles as deadbeats in Houston, and ventured into the unknown. Word of the cult's activities reached the ears of authorities both near and far. A team from Scotland Yard, along with counterparts from Washington, D.C. and Vancouver, were dispatched to rescue the abandoned followers. As they arrived, they discovered that the cult members were under surveillance by drones, a technology adapted from Cochise and complemented by the team's collaboration with North Dwarf Grooming and Lockheed Martin. The stakes were high as the team planned their raid on the cult's outpost in Houston. In an unexpected twist, it was during an auction at Flannery's house, which had become a front for the cult's drug dealings, that Patrick Coleman and his followers unknowingly consumed their own lethal concoction. As the fence burst open, the drone surveillance team and the law enforcement officers stormed in. The scene that unfolded was both chaotic and surreal. The shaman, seers, priests, and authors who had gathered around Patrick Coleman and his cult members began fervently praying to the saints, invoking their divine intervention. Incense filled the air as desperate pleas and prayers mingled with the tension and confusion of the moment. Justice prevailed as the law enforcement team swiftly apprehended the cult members. Patrick Coleman, Keith Sr., Karen, and the entire cult were soon behind bars, serving their sentences for their crimes. However, their imprisonment didn't mark the end of their story. It only